3 tips on owning and ownership. My first tip, we really have to understand we never really own anything while we are on this planet Earth. Yes, not even real estate, because when we pass on, we have to leave it all behind. My second tip, understand the short-lived nature of the things that are in our lives so we can enjoy them and be true custodians of them. The third tip, we should understand that the belongings and the things in our life exist to bring joy into our lives and not stress.
Welcome to another episode of The Sunny Side Up. Today, we have the celebrity philanthropist and the founder of the Giving Back Foundation, Meera Gandhi, via Zoom. Meera has dedicated her personal time and resources towards helping those in need since the age of 16. She's a strong proponent of mental well-being and documents her thoughts on the themes of health, happiness, and inspired living through her 2 television shows recently. Let's welcome Meera to the show. Welcome, Meera.
Hello, Meera ji. How are you?
I am great, Sunny. Nice to see you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right to the questions. So let's start with the first question, which is, What drew you to humanitarian causes and made you to adopt the path of serving others?
I think that in as we know that all of us are divine lights, right? We're all part of a universal whole. And I think within each of us is a desire to serve humanity and to do things for people. We know that because when we do things for people, we feel joyful. I think earlier on in my life, one is I think my mother was a great influence in our lives. She always encouraged us to do things for people and to give back. But I think it was a turning point when in the 10th standard at Cathedral School in Bombay, we had to go to Ashadan for an Interact Rotary program, and it was sort of mandatory. So I went to Ashadan, which is Mother Teresa's ashram in Baikala. And I had such a good time playing with the kids. As you know, the kids in Ashadan are handicapped because most people, they take the handicapped kids in India and they leave them on the steps of Ashadan. So these kids, you have to literally, when you feed them, their hands are uncoordinated. So even after they eat, like they're completely messed up. So you feed them, and then after that, you give them a bath, put them into fresh clothes, put them into bed. And if you go early in the morning, you get to play with them before the feeding time. So I had so much joy. My last 2 years of high school, I was there every single Saturday. And I must say, my mother really encouraged me. She's like, yeah, I mean, I think people study too much anyway. Yeah, go and play with the kids. And I would take the bus to Baikala. And during that time, I met Mother Teresa several times because she was very hands-on and she was there. And I think when you're 16, you're just not enamored by Mother Teresa or anyone. You're in your own world. But I think by osmosis, I really understood how joyful it is to give back. And I think I think my life was very fortunate. I mean, I had a incredibly loving childhood. I had a safe childhood. My father was in the Navy. We moved to a lot of places. I got used to playing with different kids. I always did well in school. I was head girl of every school I went to, even though I would come in as a new kid. I was president of college. I got married to my high school sweetheart who actually did really well on Wall Street. So I feel like because my path was, I mean, not that I don't work hard, I work very hard, but it was relatively obstacle free. And I think along the way, this sort of just was a natural way to be. I mean, I was in service of my kids, picking them up from school. But when my kids grew up, I felt a need to really get more involved with just the energy of a greater humanity.
That's just amazing. That's such an amazing story. I always wanted to meet somebody who's actually met Mother Teresa, and here you are. You know, it's such a lovely thing.
I mean, really, I look back on it and the number of times I met Mother and I worked with her. I mean, I remember one incident where I had just finished feeding this child and mother took the baby from me, and the baby burped up all this white gruel all over Mother Teresa's sari. And I was so horrified because I hadn't burped the kid properly. And mother just started laughing. She had these big teeth and she started laughing. She said, "Ah, good, now his food is digested." And I had many incredible moments with mother. I mean, once I was teaching the kids a dance, and remember, they're handicapped, so they dance on their bellies, they dance on one hand, whatever. But I mean, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, yeah, we'll put this together. I bought saris and, dressed them up, and I'd been, teaching them the dance. It's just incredible. And when we finished the dance, they brought the house down. The Unilever people were like just so happy. Mother came to me and gave me a hug, and she's like, you really like don't see any barriers to anything, do you? And I was like, no. And she gave me a hug, and I really feel that hug sort of stayed with me a lifetime.
That's such an amazing story. Excellent. So tell us more about Ashadan. How was the experience of teaching young children? How did that change you as a person?
Well, I think that growing up, I was always like, I was very fast. I played everything, and I was very competitive. So I mean, I was a runner, I was a bicyclist, I won many bicycling races, but I was also slightly like impatient for results. And I felt that my experience, now that I look back on it, working at Ashadan, definitely made me more patient, because I saw people who had less abilities than the average child. And so I was very incredibly patient when I was feeding them, when I was bathing them, when I was hugging them. And I feel that experience has helped me in my life, and it helped me with my own kids, because by the time I had my 3 kids, I had so much experience. Like, who knew that would come in so handy? I don't even know I would have 3 kids. But I think that experience helped me with my own kids. I was very patient with them, incredibly patient. Nothing they did or said could make me impatient. They would come out late from school. I would be sitting out in the car. It didn't matter. I would say, great, you caught up with those friends. Great, you stopped to talk to a teacher. And I feel I've raised 3 very strong kids because of that, because I was just, very, very engaged, and I understood at a very instinctive level what tenderness and dealing with children is about. So I think it actually made me, if I may say so, an excellent mother. And then years later, I took my son back to Ashadan when my son was, I think, 2.5 or 3 years old. And we went to Ashadan, and my son was with me. And there was this kid who was riding a bicycle, and he had sort of one leg and a stump, and he was riding a tricycle. And to my horror, my son like pushed him off the cycle and took it, and he was like cycling. And I was just like watching this thing. Oh my God, Kabir. But that kid, he came from behind and he stopped in front of the wheel. He took Kabir off and he got on and he started biking again. And I was just watching this thinking, you know what? Sometimes you just have to leave kids and leave people to play and to be, because there's sort of a method to the universe. You go out to dinners, it's very relaxed. And one day I had gone down to Oceanside Mall, and I had to buy some stuff. I remember it was like some silver frames and some stuff for the house. And the driver drove me back up to the peak in my 7 Series BMW. And we were in this townhouse, which even for the peak was quite amazing. And I went up to the 4th floor, which was the master bedroom. And I just looked out on Hong Kong, and literally Hong Kong and the harbor in all its beauty lay below me. And I just started crying. In that moment, I felt disconnected. I felt, now people are talking about this displacement theory when you move from one place to another. I had my Kiran was at Georgetown. Kanika had just left for Atlantic College, United World Colleges, and my son was applying to boarding school. And I just felt incredibly empty in that moment. And I just started crying uncontrollably. And it was like, I think 6:30. And I don't know how long I was up there crying. When I came down, it was 8 o'clock, and my bewildered Filipino cook, she had meticulously put food on the table, and Vikram had just come back. And I said, there's got to be a more to life. I mean, I know this life is great, but it just it just feels so disconnected. And in that moment, we decided to start the Giving Back Foundation so that I could reach out directly to people and be in touch. And we actually started Women Helping Women in Hong Kong with a group of my friends, where we worked with some women in outside of Hong Kong that were in the sex trade. And that's how it all started. And the Giving Back Foundation was born, and I think I've never looked back. It's just been extremely joyful. So that was sort of my moment of deep despair, but also my moment of understanding that, you know, we have to be connected to the greater journey. If we live, I mean, a disconnected journey is not, it's just not a journey. It's just not a joyful journey.
Tell us about the Giving Back Foundation, and what are you trying to achieve through it? What have been some of the highlights running this foundation?
Okay, so the Giving Back Foundation, first of all, what was my purpose? Or what is the foundation about? So basically, when I looked at my life, and I looked at the life of my children, and I looked at the life of my ex-husband, Vikram, what was very clear to us, because we were products of excellent education and excellent private school, I mean, great schooling, great colleges, an MBA program at Boston University, and exec ed at Harvard Business School. Education really was the reason why we were so successful. And so the Giving Back Foundation started with a mandate to empower young girls. And I took over the St. Michael's School in Delhi, soup to nuts, where the foundation, even today, educates, clothes, feeds 180 girls from basically kindergarten to the 12th grade. And that's our first mandate, to empower through education. Since then, I've taken on different youths, and I've taken on, the category, of course, has broadened as the work has grown. Our second mandate with the foundation is to be a platform for positive dialogue and debate. So what do? We sponsor events, we sponsor things like the Woodstock Film Festival, where we have the Giving Back Award for a director, producer, actor who produces positive social content, because the power of positivity when you have a platform is huge. And I know that from my own life. And so I thought, what better way to enhance positivity than to give this opportunity to young people? I mean, certain artists who want to play inspiring music, meditation, candlelight meditation, we sponsored everything. The third is the mental wellness, because later on in life, as I sort of looked around me, I was amazed that I was on Park Avenue and really living at the bastion of success. I mean, that's where you want to be on the planet. That is like where your success takes you. And there were so many people that were, you know, unhappy or not centered. And so we decided to start the third part of the foundation, which was the mental wellness. And we started doing the Ledgewood retreat, where people would come up to Ledgewood, which is right here, and spend a day in meditation, doing yoga, sitting together and eating. And this is what the foundation is about. Obviously, a foundation where I am at the helm, it obviously takes on a little bit of what the interest of the founder is. So obviously, if this is my new interest, the foundation, I'm tending to do more things in that direction. And so I started doing a show on B4U TV, which has gone into reruns. We did 13 episodes of the Meera Gandhi show. And we took out themes like joyfulness, happiness. And we brought people on the show who talked about, you know, what is joyfulness? How do we cultivate joyfulness? What is the journey of being joyful? Why is it important? And how do you do it? I'm very solution oriented. I like to know, okay, if I want to be happy, tell me how. What are you doing to make you successful? Or what are you doing that opens so many doors for you? Like, I like to learn. And so we use this show to really touch on many, many topics. And I think in some ways, Kevin Rago, the head of B4U, Kevin says to me, you know, in a way it was like, for me, sort of a self-healing, because through the show, I discover things in myself, revitalization, or how to find peace, or how to forgive. And so it helped my inner journey too. And after that, obviously, I met some people at Times TV who said, let's do 3 tips by Meera Gandhi. Like, let's give us in a minute, give us some gyan in a minute. So I started doing 3 tips on Times, which is now on Instagram and Facebook, and we've had a huge response. And I'm just sort of, I'm on this journey of trying to understand what is my power, what are my gifts, and how do I really share them? And I think that if you're a little open and my meditation practice has become quite strong, the answers sort of come to you. So this is sort of where I am at, and this is where my foundation is at.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And starting and operating any charitable effort takes a lot of effort and perseverance. Tell us about any challenges you may have faced over the course of running the foundation for so many years.
Well, I have to say when we started it, Vikram and I were married, and we were putting our own money into it. And then after I got divorced, I found that it was actually very hard to date. I mean, I raised money for so many other charities. I'll put it out there. To date, I've raised practically no money for my own foundation. I just have not been able to, I don't know, for whatever reason. So it's a self-funded foundation. It's my money that goes into it. It's our money that went into it, and it's self-funded. And I think the challenge with that is that then you have to start picking and choosing projects because you have X number of dollars that you want to or that you can afford to put into the foundation. So I think that but in spite of that, we have always managed year after year to do our projects, to hit anything we've needed to do. And it's actually been remarkably successful. I think in part to the incredible people that I've met along the way who have walked with us and been partners with us, like Sherry Blair from London, who's become a dear friend, Mark Anthony through Maestro Cares. I was in Puerto Rico in early December last year to open another orphanage. We're joyful to just be there at another orphanage opening, really a gift. So I think that the challenge of a foundation like this is that at this point, my interests are so varied that it needs to be, we definitely need to bring in outside energy, outside money, outside. So I'm looking to sort of change this with the foundation. And I have more time now because now my 3 kids are no longer at home. They're, Kiran's 31. She has a fantastic career of her own. Kanika's 27. Kabir's working. So I think now would be the time to do that. So I think that is the challenge. How do you bring in money for your foundation when people say, listen, you have money, you want to do charity, why should we write you checks? You want to do charity, you have money, you do it. So I found that a bit of a challenge. Like, how do you get around that?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I mean, if this is self-funded, that must be really challenging. And, why wouldn't other people want to help you? Because, you're doing such a nice and productive thing for the society. So they should run to you with checkbooks and say, here's a check. And, I would like to contribute.
They should, but I feel like I'm not blaming people because I feel like I have to be more, like we did one Giving Back Foundation gala. We didn't do it after that because there was just so many things going on. But I think that as we have very specific targets and we have very specific asks, I think it will be easier. But as usual, I like to think out of the box. So I am creating my own brand of products, which are superb quality, luxury, and a large portion that proceeds will go back to the Giving Back Foundation. So I'm hoping to fund the foundation through this innovative product line. It's a mission-led product line with fantastic products. And I'm interested in beautiful fragrance and beautiful things and beautiful quality, very, very superb quality. So I think there is no fragrance line like this in the world. And I think that this will also be a very interesting vehicle to fund the foundation. We'll see. We're making very big progress on this front.
How can people incorporate philanthropy into their daily lives?
See, the notion of philanthropy is giving back or doing something for another person. To me, giving back actually is elevating the spirit of someone who is next to you, whether it's by giving them material or money, or by being kind, or by helping them with a job, or by emotionally helping them heal. Whatever people need is what philanthropy is about. So I think that it doesn't have to be this huge, oh my God. I think you just start very close to home. I mean, we all see people's needs. I mean, just day to day, it's not that hard. I think we start there. And then if you have extra time and you want to take it to another level, you can. Um, if I had to say that I made some mistakes with my foundation, which was, I think that we answered all calls and we were happy to be like all things to all people. And I think that that's a mistake. I think you have to really stay very much within the realm of what you really stand for and what you want to do, so that you're impactful. But in spite of that, I've been able to be very impactful. But I would say it's good to be just a little more focused and clear on how you want to help someone. And also it should align with your own interests. For example, I'm interested in meditation and wellness and beauty. So it's very logical for me to want to be involved in wellness programs, or to have retreats where people can come and de-stress, because it's of interest to me. So I think it's very important to also understand how to align your inner light with helping others, because I think it's more effective that way.
Okay, so a lot of your work centers around wellness. Tell us about the Meera Gandhi show. What was your aim with this show?
So first I was working on a book about wellness, and the book sort of turned into a script. And the show basically, as I said earlier, we did 13 episodes, which range from the importance of solitude. And we actually, that was a very interesting show because we brought Arya on it. Arya used to be very social. She was married in Hawaii. She became a Buddhist monk. She just one day just couldn't take the life and became a Buddhist monk. And she actually lives here upstate New York. She was on the show talking about the importance of quiet and the importance of like going within. So I think the show was just, I mean, I told you, Kevin said that it was probably like inner need, whether it was an inner need to share or an inner need to heal. I don't know, maybe both. That was the show. And actually it's on the website called themeeragandhishow.com. So if viewers are interested in any particular topic from peace or happiness, please do go on and enjoy the content. We have some wonderful people that shared insights. And I think it's...
Your latest media project has been the series of short video 3 tips. Tell us more about this series and how it came about.
Okay, it's actually a very interesting anecdote. Nikhil Gandhi and Ajay Kulkarni, who used to be respectively the CEO and the CFO of Times Network, they were in New York, and they said, you know, Rishi Kapoor is coming out of hospital, his cancer is in remission, and like, would you like to host a dinner for him? I mean, we don't know whether he can go to a restaurant, but we'd love to bring him and Need to Sing to your townhouse. And I think Anupam Kher was in town, and I said, yeah, let's do the dinner. So we did the dinner in my townhouse, and I'm so fortunate that I did have Rishi Kapoor and Neet Singh there, and we had such a fantastic evening. We were all there till like very late, eating and drinking and chatting. And during that evening, on the dining table, I guess I was just talking about, you know, the journey and how not all, some of it is luck and destiny, and some of it is, you know, really hard work. And this is what like Rishi Kapoor and Neetu Singh and we were just like talking about that. And the next day, Ajay called me and said, you know, why don't you consider doing a show called 3 Tips, but not like a long show, like just 1 minute clips, and we'll run it in between the news, or we'll run it like at different times on the network. So that's how this started. And I have to say that it was Ajay's idea to do these 1 minute. He's like, really, the value add is like for people who are driving to work in traffic, or so they can hear the 3 tips and it can just like move them into another space. So that's how the project started. We filmed it with Times, and then of course we completed it independently. But I think the idea was really to be able to shift someone very quickly and to give sort of practical advice, like day-to-day advice, like what things that you can do. I mean, my latest 3 tips was, it was released when it was raining over here, and it's like, how do you embrace the day? And I started by saying, really take time to go out of your thoughts and really into the moment that's out there, because that's real. And you can start with just a smile, just wake up and smile. And and I think it's been fun to share. And we've had a really nice response. I mean, I meet random people. I met someone yesterday who said, oh my God, the water 3 tips. I mean, that's my favorite 3 tips. So different things have jumped out and gravitated with different people.
I'm going to pick your brains about Rishi Kapoor now that, he's left us. What was the experience like, and how did the evening progress, and what did you guys talk about?
So I must say that I feel very honored that as soon as he was well, he came to my home. He was extremely upbeat. He had lost a lot of weight. He looked really good. And, I have a townhouse, so the living room is on the 2nd floor. So when he walked in, I was like, wow, you look so fit. Like, shall we take the stairs? He's like, no. I asked if you have an elevator. So he got into the elevator, and then of course we were eating and drinking and chatting. And you would have thought the conversation would have been about cancer and health, and it was really not. He was reminiscing about his different film projects, the different things that happened on the set. I didn't even know that so many pranks were played on him. I mean, there were so many pranks played on Rishi Kapoor, because apparently he was just like, he took it in great stride. I mean, he was recounting like the different pranks that had been played on him and the different roles he had done. And that evening he was telling me, he said, I really feel like, I feel so fortunate that I was able to go up above and beyond who I am. And my film career really helped me do that. And I think that to me was most important. And I said, so what are you going to do after this? I mean, you'll have to manage your health. He said, why? I'm going to go back to Bombay. I'm going to start acting and working. He's like, what else is there to do? This is what I do best. This is what I'm going to keep doing. And thank God now I'm healthy and strong. That's what I'm going to do. So that was sort of what the conversation was about. It was really about his work, his acting. I think he really felt a sense of pride, because he felt that he had contributed to people's lives. He had entertained them. He had shifted them. He made them happy. He's like, so many times I go to places and, they stop me and they're like, Chintu ji, aapka jo film tha, my Hindi is so bad, but he's, basically saying at that point in time, I was going through something and your film really lifted me. Or someone had told him that they saw Bobby like 11 times. And I think he had a very, I can tell you, he had a very fulfilled life. He was definitely fulfilled by his career. He worked till the end. And what a genuine, like, awesome, lovable guy.
Exactly.
Just awesome.
All around. It's such a loss, It's
all
such
around.
A loss.
I mean, one incident, it's a loss. But, one incident I remember is that, I did have, like, my housekeeper was there, and some of my staff, and they wanted a picture with him, when he was leaving. And so they had their pictures and they were taking it quickly. He said, nahi, कैमरा को थोड़ा adjust करो, अगर पिक्चर ले रहे हो तो अच्छा से लेते हैं, कोई जल्दबाजी नहीं करना, चलो इसको adjust करो, थोड़ा lighting में आ जाओ. And it was quite sweet. He actually curated that shot with the housekeepers, and with my massage lady who was there, Chandna, who was also helping. And I mean, they really, they treasure those pictures. And he didn't rush them, say, acha, acha, jaldi se le lo. It wasn't like, he's tabiyat se, thoda lighting dekho, thoda camera ko, idhar camera ko adjust karo. And I kind of, I love that quality in him, you know.
Yeah.
It really touched me. I just,
you're
remember
blessed that you actually you got to host him. You know, meeting him is one thing, but you got to host him. You know, had dinner with him. That's such a blessing. And well, you know, that is life. You know, we just left with memories now.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know, they talk about life being Maya and my life being an illusion. And actually, if you really think about it, you just even think about a person you met yesterday. Okay, it's in your memory, but I mean, can you touch it, feel it? It's like, it's ephemeral, it's like gone. And same thing, we're thinking about doing things in the future, right? Okay, I'll do this, but is it real? I mean, I can't even like I have it in my head, but I can't really picture it, not like this present moment. So honestly, when the sages tell us like this present moment is so important, it really is. And as I get older, I really stress this to people, because in every moment, if you do the right thing and you know instinctively you're doing the right thing and you're doing it well, the outcome is going to be successful. And what is it that successful people have in common? They continuously, by repetition and behavior and by character, they do the right thing and they do it well, and they do it to the best of their ability. And that fuels consistent success and consistency, and also happiness. Because I think if you hurt another person, I mean, I don't care whether you're in a relationship with them or whether you're working with them. I mean, if you hurt them, you hurt yourself, because we are connected. These are some of the things I really take away from me when I meet incredibly successful people. I just always observe them, like, what are they doing so right? I mean, Rishi Kapoor, it was his passion. I mean, he acted with a passion. I mean, he came out of hospital. The next thing he wanted to do was to go back to Bombay and act. And so I think one is you have to be passionate, and then second, you have to really do it to the best of your ability.
When I meet a successful person, I try to sort of read them and see what they do and how they do it, and follow their life pattern, and you know, what are their habits. I always ask them, like, you know, what is your typical day like? You know, how does your day start and what do you do? And again, you know, you and I pretty much share that. That's pretty much what we have in common. Excellent.
We do. And Sonny, I'm going to stop here and tell you that in 2016, when we met backstage, we were doing a fashion show together for the SK1, the Cancer Foundation, if you recall.
Yes.
And I remember how first, incredibly how fun loving you are. It's like so fun to do a show with you, because you are, you know, really, you're just in it to win it and have fun. But also how incredibly not only kind you are, because I remember talking to you, you came up to me and you were interested in knowing things about me, and you were interested in there were, I don't know how many of us were there, eight of us. And I think that you really took time backstage to talk to everybody. I mean, they had us on last because we were a highlight. And I think that I remember that about you, like very, very kind and very, very, I think,
and so are you.
Genuinely interested in people.
And that's exactly the way you are. I mean, and that's the reason I sought you out, and I asked you, you know, may I please interview you? Because I remember from back then that, you know, you are doing this good work, and you know, you are somebody that people would love to hear from, because you know, you have this foundation, and through the foundation you're helping people. And what could be better than hearing from somebody who is helping other people in these trying and challenging times than Meera Gandhi herself? So that is the reason why you are on the show. This is,
well, thank you very much.
It's good to know that you remember me. I didn't think you would, but that's great.
Of course. In fact, I think Reza or someone, or was it Aisha Haki or you? I don't know. I got one of those pictures and I was thinking, oh my God, I got to put that on my Instagram. We look so good in that shot. Maybe after this, we'll put that out there.
I will. Yeah, but, I have some photos.
Send me.
Yes.
One thing I would say, Sunny, now that you've touched on people are going through this, you know, trying times where people feel like, oh my God, like is it ever going to be the same? Am I going to be able to support my family? Am I going to be able to support myself? Young people are worried whether they'll find jobs. There's a lot of like uncertainty out there. And to anyone listening who feels that way, I would say to them that, um, we have always been fine. We will always be fine. The planet always was, and the planet will be. The planet is abundant. The planet was created to provide for all of us. So if we have the knowledge that we are abundant, if we manage our health and we manage our minds, we are going to be okay. Big homes, cars, all those are material constructs. The real construct is your journey, your health. And so if we sort of keep that in mind and keep that in perspective, I think we'll just all feel less bewildered.
And I totally agree with you, but I think what people find hard to do is to think beyond themselves. And I think there is so much of like greed and so much of indifference towards other people. That is the reason why people suffer, because they only think about themselves, they only think about their own needs. And again, I would invite them to look at your website and see what work you do and how they could possibly get involved with your foundation. As will I will definitely look into ways that I can actually help the foundation and be a part of it, or anything that I can do from my side, because I'm really motivated. Because if a person like you is heading a foundation and you're doing it all by yourself, that inspires me, that there's like no selfish interest in there. You're doing it from the goodness of your heart.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's slightly altruistic because it gives me a lot of joy, but yeah, there are moments when I do feel like, it's kind of lonely at the top. And then I also question myself sometimes. Oh my God, I mean, am I doing the right thing? Am I making good decisions? But then I dial it back, and I think in every moment I try to like do the right thing. And usually if you have the right thinking and your right action, the fruits are usually right. And I'm really never attached to the fruits. I mean, I'm really not attached to outcomes. I mean,
Yeah.
I really am not. And so whatever the outcome is, if you trust it's the right thing for the universe and for you, it also takes, I just feel like I don't need to control so much. I'm like, I leave it out there a little bit. But I agree with your point that greed has got us here. And the industries that have been particularly greedy are the ones that are actually dying in this time.
Yeah.
They really are. The industries that are not really serving humanity and whose use is outdated, they're dying sort of a natural death. But the good news is there are other industries that are coming up. There are other ways of communicating coming up. I think there's more thoughtfulness. I think the pause has been, in many cases, fantastic. I mean, we do a extended family Zoom call every Sunday. We've done it now for 7 months. Every single Sunday, we're just all so connected. My kids have spent more time at home. They worked from home, but they spend more time with me at home. I think there have been many positive things also that have occurred because of this sort of pause and slowing down and like taking a deep breath. It's not all bad.
I understand that you've been working on the Giving Fragrance. Please tell us more about this project and how it ties into Giving Back Foundation.
So basically, as I started to say earlier on in this Zoom call, was that I wanted to find an innovative way to raise money for the foundation. And I also wanted to create a world-class fragrance, which I was fortunate to do with one of the largest juice manufacturers in the world, who's just an incredibly kind 5th generation perfume juice maker, whose company is supporting us. We have an incredible juice. It has 28 ingredients. It's got lavender, sage. We've merged herbs and flowers, and it's unbelievable. The packaging is stunning. And I've taken a lot of my personal value systems, my personal choice of colors, my personal choice of aesthetics for the product. It's just a stunning, stunning, stunning packaging. And we're going to start with 7 products. So we'll have the 100 ml fragrance, the 50 ml. We'll have a body lotion. We'll have 2 candles. The candle is stunning. We've sold a lot of the candles already. And we'll have a firming eye cream. And we'll start with that. And then we own 13 other products in the same category. We own the name Giving. The line of products will be called Giving. And I'm very excited for it because it's extremely, it's Paris, New York. It's made with the best juice. Artisanals have been, indigenous tribes have given us flowers. We're supporting indigenous tribes. So I think a lot of people are benefiting from it already by being part of the process. And I'm excited to really share this world-class product as an Indian. I think it's going to be the first fragrance that is created by an Indian, but it's of course a French fragrance. And I think I'm excited to see what happens. And I hope that everyone will buy it and love it and walk this journey of giving back. And the idea was every time you use the fragrance, the idea is that you will mentally be elevated, not only by the name Giving, but by the choice of ingredients. It's a very, very, very special fragrance. The juice is just incredible. I'm very excited about it. It's coming very soon. We hope
where can people find information about it? Where can we find information about it?
Okay, you can find information about it at the Giving. It's called givingbackfragrance.com is our website. Givingbackfragrance.com. The new products are still not on the website. The older products are, but we're going to be putting the new products on very soon. I didn't want to put them on until they were ready to buy, but I think by January you should be able to buy them and we'll ship them to you at home. And I think everyone's going to really just love it. I mean, it's very, very special. If I get excited about something, it's got to be Uber, and
I'm sure
it's really an Uber chic, amazing fragrance.
I am sure. I think we pretty much have time for one more question. So I'm going to ask you the last question because I think it's time for us to say goodbye till we meet again. Okay, as we are at the end of what has been a troubling year for a lot of people, what advice would you like to share with our viewers to help with having a more fulfilling and joyful 2021?
One of the big things I would like to share with viewers, because it's helped me so much, is to really take time to meditate. And there are many, many techniques out there, whether you do the Deepak Chopra meditation or whether you do pranayam, you do breath meditation. Slow down your thoughts, because our thoughts are Maya illusion. I mean, we really have to come out of our thoughts. And when you start focusing on your breath, you're able to break the thought pattern. So I think runaway thoughts take people down. They make people despair. I think in addition to meditation, stay connected with your loved ones. Really take time to call someone every day that you love, whether it's your child, your mother, your father, your friend, your lover, or someone you just want to talk to. Just take time to do that every day, literally, and then get a good night's sleep. There's no point staying awake worrying, because you know what? When you wake up, that's still going to be with you. But if you have a good night's sleep, suddenly it just doesn't seem as worrisome. So good night's sleep, meditation, stay in touch with your loved ones, and just don't despair. I mean, we're all in this together. The time we despair is when we think, oh my God, like what's going to happen to me? But when we think as a collective whole, we are strong, we are humans, we are intelligent, we are evolved. We're going to find solutions. We have found solutions. We will find solutions. And we're going to be okay.
That is such a lovely message, Ed. Thank you so much, Meera. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out from your busy schedule and giving us the time. And thank you so much for sending this positive message to everybody, all the viewers of the Sunny Side Up show. And again, we look forward to having you again on one of these shows very soon. Thank you very much.
I'm sending grace and love and blessings to all of you.
Thank you very much then.